Eriksson is stable after medical emergency. Lukaku proves why he is a Golden Boot contender. New contract for Barca youngster. Wolves to sell 2 star players and a transfer roundup, all coming up on today's OneFootball Daily News. As I'm your host, Angelina Kelly, let's get into it. First up, and yesterday's fixture between Denmark and Finland was temporarily postponed due to Christian Erikson collapsing on the pitch. He was taken to hospital. UEFA have confirmed that he is stable. The Danish FA have confirmed that he is talking and undergoing further tests. The game continued at the request of both nations and allegedly also Christian Erikson himself once he was stable in hospital. The whole situation just demonstrated a really responsible reaction from referee Anthony Taylor and from the players, and the fact that his teammates even provided a circle around him for a little bit of privacy whilst the medics worked on him was amazing to see, and also to hear all of the fans in the stadium chanting his name. When the game did continue and the Danish side emerged, all the Finnish players and staff were applauding them in what was a really touching moment. Now, Finland did win the game 1-0. I can't imagine it was a game that anybody really kind of wanted to win or even play, but they did well to get the job done. And also, this was actually a new record, as Finland are the first team in a European Championships or World Cup to win a game with just 1 shot. In what was a very distressing moment in football, it also became a moment of togetherness and just provided everybody with another reminder of what is truly important. And everybody here at OneFootball wishes a full and speedy recovery to Eriksson. Meanwhile, the second game of Group B was between Belgium and Russia, and Belgium got off to an amazing start to the competition with a 3-0 victory. On the score sheet, of course, was Romelu Lukaku. He managed to get 2 goals. His first goal he actually dedicated to Eriksson in a really touching moment. And the third goal was from Thomas Meunier, who came on before half-time as a substitute for Timothy Castagne, who unfortunately is now ruled out of the rest of the competition as he has a double fracture on his eye socket. Despite the circumstances, it was still a great game for Belgium. They actually were kind of playing as an away team as the game was being held in St. Petersburg, and they managed to silence just over 26,000 fans with their performance. And this is just another reminder as to why Belgium are in the mix and being discussed as one of the favourites for the competition. In qualifying, they scored over 40 goals, more than any other team, and the fact that they then scored 3 goals last night should surely be putting Belgian fans in a very good mood. And yesterday, the other game of the Euros was between Wales and Switzerland, who ended in a 1-1 draw. I'm sure that Wales fans will be breathing a sigh of relief as Switzerland really did pile on the pressure in the extra time of the game. And hopefully for Wales, this will provide them with a springboard as they go into their next game against Turkey on Wednesday. And don't forget, you can find plenty more Euro content, not only on the OneFootball app, but on the Volkswagen OneHub as well. So make sure you check them out. And if you're watching on YouTube, the links are right beneath this video. Our next story takes us to Barcelona. And while some fans may be sat criticising Ronald Koeman and his performance as Barcelona manager, you cannot take one thing away from him, and that is the fact that he's been able to bring youngsters into the Barcelona team this season. And one player that is really reaping the benefits of this is Ilaix Moriba, who is set to undergo talks with Barcelona about signing a new contract. The 18-year-old managed to impress the Catalan club with 14 La Liga appearances this season. His contract does expire in the summer of 2022, and with interest from the likes of Manchester City, Chelsea and Manchester United, Barcelona are looking to tie him down to a long-term deal. According to Marca, Barcelona are set to sit down with Moriba in the coming week to offer him a 3 or 4 year deal. But could his head be turned by interest from other clubs? I don't think so. I think despite the fact that other clubs could potentially offer him more money due to Barcelona's economic position, I think this could actually work in Moriba's favour. Because they do not have the funds that they normally have to buy players, this means that they're probably not going to make any signings in central midfield. So what this means for Moriba is that there are going to be less players to compete with and potentially more game time for him at Barcelona. The player's current contract that, like I say, expires next year is around €2 million that has been paid out over the last 3 years, and reportedly the termination clause was €100 million. This was a deal that was actually organised by his former agent, who is actually Gareth Bale's agent. And let's just hope that despite all of these massive numbers that are being talked about with Moriba, Barcelona can come to an agreement with him, as let's face it, the likes of Moriba, Pedri and Riqui Puig all combined could really be the future of Barcelona's midfield. Next up, and according to 90 Minutes, Wolves have reportedly told their new manager Bruno Lage that in order to reinvest into the squad, they are going to need to sell some of their big name players this summer, and 2 of them are Ruben Neves and Adama Traore. Of course, this season was a disappointing one for Wolves. They finished in 13th in the Premier League, a far cry from the usual 7th that they finished in the last 2 seasons since their promotion. So you can definitely understand why they're looking at reinvestment, because they certainly need to bring in some new faces. So if Neves and Traore could be on the move, where will they be heading? Traore has obviously been at Wolves since 2018, and the 25-year-old reportedly is stating that now is the perfect time to move away from Wolves. Of course, this was discussed back in January when he put contract negotiations on hold with the club, despite the fact that they already had a primary agreement in place. Of course, when this news came out back in January, Liverpool and Leeds were the main clubs that were interested. Leeds reportedly are still very much interested, and Chelsea and Manchester United have asked to be kept updated with the player's situation. However, with Manchester United getting ready to up their bid for Jadon Sancho on that right wing, I can't really see them still being in the race for Traore. However, Manchester United could be interested in Neves. Now, in April, it was reported that Wolves would not stand in his way if he did want to depart, but any clubs would have to meet the price of £30 million. Now, for Manchester United, it does seem like they would be more interested in Declan Rice in this area of the pitch that they desperately do need to invest in, but I don't think that West Ham are going to want Declan Rice to go, and also Neves would be a much cheaper option than Rice, and like I say, with the amount of money that they could be spending on Jadon Sancho, Neves would be a cheaper option and he would still be brilliant on that area of the pitch. And finally, we have our transfer roundup. This is where I take a look at some of the other news and transfers going on in the footballing world. And first up, according to journalist Fabrizio Romano, Gigi Buffon, despite having 5 proposals from clubs, looks like he'll be heading back to Parma, where he began his career 26 years ago. Bernardo Silva allegedly wants out at Manchester City as he believes that he no longer has enough of a role under Pep Guardiola, with the likes of Atletico Madrid and Barcelona already checking on the player's availability. And speaking of Barcelona, they are optimistic that they will get the deal over the line in the coming week for 27-year-old Memphis Depay. And finally, former Uruguayan international Sebastian Abreu is finally announcing his retirement. He has been in the sport for 26 years. He has played for a world record 31 clubs, and the 44-year-old has finally decided to hang up his boots. I think he has more than deserved this retirement. So that's everything for today's OneFootball Daily News. As always, check out all the other content that we've got here, and until next time, I will see you all later.